Okay, so the first subject that I want you to focus on is enhancing. I'll provide a link to this fail stack document in the description of this video. However, whenever you are enhancing within BDO, you want to make sure that you know the exact fail stack integer that you need per item. This document is more so based upon high level enhancing for gold and boss gear. So if you are utilizing this document for blue gear or even green gear, then you want to scale it down just a little as far as the fail stack number, and you want to just aim for a similar percentage, which the percentage are usually higher on greens and blues. This is why less fail stacks can be used. Now, by far the easiest way to build fail stacks is going to be by running the Valencia quest line, getting an alt to level 55, and just going through the Valencia quest line. You'll obtain 20s, 30s, and 150. However, otherwise, you're going to take a plus 14 item and take it to a 20 stack, and if the plus 14 item pops to 15, like you see it just did here, you're going to take it over to the priest. Hideout is typically the easiest place to do this, and you're going to cleanse the gear and de-hance it back down to level 14. And with that 14 item plus 14, you're going to continue to build fail stacks on it by using black stones with a durability option. It's typically pretty easily to get to 20 stacks. However, you will have bad strings of luck where they will pop to plus 15. That's why I have multiple plus 14s for this instance. You simply just buy the base items to repair them, and then after they're repaired to full durability, you just simply start fail stacking using the durability option. Depending on what item you need, obviously you're going to want to go to that exact fail stack that you need, but I personally wouldn't go past 20 to 25 stacks. 25 is pushing it. 20 is, it's the standard that you can get to on green gear. I definitely have built multiple 20 stacks using this method. Here you will see me going for a Tri-Centaurus belt using a 50 stack plus 10 Valks. I failed 4 times previously. I actually failed more prior to duo than I did duo to try, but I still did make profit or save myself money, I guess, by building this try, and eventually I got it by utilizing the right stacks. Now, both of these next enhancements were actually one taps. One tap the dim tree to Tet, utilizing Kron Gang, and I also did the same thing with my Blue Awakening, which I won't be utilizing anymore. I'm gonna sell it. I now have a dandy, but the 50 Valks from the Valencia questline and the plus 10 Valks Valk cries, it is a standard for going for tech gear, and it works. Same thing applies to going for tries. Please do not get discouraged if you fail, because even I fail multiple times. Just keep going and eventually you will get it. Alright, so the next topic that I want to discuss with y'all is gear. Now, gear in BDO is highly important, and how you build your character will determine your efficiency in PvE and PvP. So keeping this in mind, you want to learn the pros and the cons as to an AP build or a DP build, and also AP evasion, AP accuracy, or a pure evasion build. Now, the more AP you have, obviously the more damage you're going to do in PvE, and you can also still be very viable in PvP. But if you go DP, then in order to be viable in PvE, you're either going to have to build a second set of accessories, or you're going to have to learn to farm in very low efficiency spots. That being said, I do have a video here in which I discuss the pros and the cons on how to choose your gear. I also go into detail about each specific build for classes, and even go as far as to provide you links to the BDO Planner basic build. You can customize these builds to your liking, or send me a DM on Discord and I'll answer a question about these for you. Now, outside of choosing your gear, utilizing BDO Planner to progress your gear, you're going to be progressing. Your weapons are always primary. Awakening weapon first, offhand next, main hand after, and then you're going to take your armor to a certain level, and then accessories. That's the standard. If you have Asulas, then you're going to want to upgrade to blues. If you're at blues, you're going to stay at duo blues until your weapons are full tet and your armor is full tet, and then you get out of duo blues and move towards tri golds. I go more into detail about that in the beginner's gear progression guide. If you have any further questions or need elaboration on how to enhance or progress your gear in the most streamlined path, then definitely just shoot me a message and I'll explain more for you. But utilizing BDO Planner to project your build and to get the overall stats, not just the AP DP, but the damage reduction evasion stats that you want to aim for, BDO Planner is going to be essential in this matter. Now, when choosing your skill build, it's going to be very similar than choosing your gear. You're going to use this calculator, bdocodex.com. The link will be in the description, as well as BDO Planner. And you're going to want to project how much SP you're going to need for the essential skills of your class. That way you can utilize the current SP that you have to its efficiency, and then you'll know for each SP or skill point that you gain which skills you're going to be going for next. That way you can reach your in-game build. You need build help. I would advise joining some of the class-based discords. Just Google whatever your class is Discord for this game, and there will be multiple people within those discords that are willing to help you on your class. But projecting your build beforehand is going to be very essential. That way you know how much SP you need. Alright, so the next thing that I wanted to speak to you about is passive income. Passive income is just generally doing anything within BDO that you can generate silver from without actually having to do work. The most simple way to generate a passive income in BDO for me is Afk Fishing. When I go AFK, I'm utilizing a silver embroidered fisher's clothes and a boundless fishing rod. Make sure it's at max durability. The boundless fishing rod, as it levels, it gives you auto fishing reduction. And what I'm aiming for is not really the fish, it's ancient relics. There are various spots inland that you can get ancient relics from. So if you are at a convenient spot, it's nice to just park your character somewhere inland. That way you can have a chance to obtain those ancient relics. However, you can also go out into the ocean and utilize somethinglovely.com, and that will allow you to project where you can find a hotspot. You can only find hotspots at Professional Plus, but Afk Fishing at a hotspot will generate you a very large sum of gold or blue fish to sell. And the higher you're trading, the more profit you'll get from those fish. But generally, as long as you have a full inventory of fish for AFK, I would say it's definitely good profit personally. There are other ways to build passive income. However, AFK Fishing with a fishing getting +5 fishing with your luck up, in my personal opinion, it's a very easy and simple way to generate cash. I've fished in Calpheon, Heidel, and Valencia. It seems like the two best places are Valencia and Calpheon City. Inland, you can find a bunch of inland spots, and like I said, the hotspots. You know, trade routes, farming, there's multiple different other ways. I would definitely encourage you to research them. However, me personally, like I said, I just do Afk Fishing, just because it's simple. Now, as far as active farming, you want to make sure again that you have that +5 luck. I have +5 luck because I have an innerwear, and then my knowledge is at 3,500, which gives me a +10 drop rate as well. Farming on Arsha, when you look at the buffs, gives you a 50% drop rate bonus, 5% per node, so you definitely want to level your node. And then I always have a Kama Sylvia blessing. Anytime you are actively farming, you want to make sure you have those buffs, drop scrolls as well. I would say currently the best spots to farm, especially with the meta moving towards RBF. Most people are in RBF that want a PvP. Farming on Arsha at Gahaz with a plus node is going to generate a lot of income. Also, farming at Piliku with the plus node is going to generate a massive amount of income as well. Outside of those two spots, if you have extremely high AP, Centaurus and Ackman are good places. If you are at a lower AP bracket, you're going to want to farm at Rogues or Sawsons. Sawsons is a bit more contestant than Rogues, but Rogues is much smaller and you're very well bound to run into somebody on Rogues because it's just such a small place. That being said, you pick the place that you want to farm, you level the node to at least level 8 if you're going to be actively grinding there. That way, you know, you're getting that 5% per node, and you find a rotation, meaning you farm in a circle, a repeated circle, to an extent that you have little to no downtime. And the more weight and the more inventory slots that you have, the less inventory management is necessary, and you can farm more efficiently. So these are things that you want to keep in mind when you are active farming, so that you can farm and be efficient. The next thing that I wanted to speak about is purchasing gear versus building gear. Either way, you're going to be purchasing an item, but let's say that your goal is to build a Tri-Centaurus. A Tri-Centaurus is 1.6 bill max and 1.5 bill minimum. And the base Centaurus belts are 8 million, right? And you can sometimes even get these at min bid. There's 12 at min bid right now, so 7.5 million. That being said, right, if they're 8 million and I need to go to try, the best case scenario, I'll be utilizing 4, right? So 8 million times 4 belts is going to bring you to 32 million at the minimum it would take to get to try. Now let's say you fail 10 times. That's still 320 million. Let's say you fail another 10 times. That's still less than 700 million, right? So the chances of you failing up to 1.5 bill when building a Centaurus belt is very unlikely. So in this situation, it's much more worth it for you to build a Centaurus belt. If you have enough money to cover your losses, you will definitely eventually get there before you spend that 1.4 bill or 1.5 bill that you're going to spend buying it. The next thing that I wanted to speak about is purchasing gear versus building gear. Either way, you're going to be purchasing an item, but let's say that your goal is to build a Tri-Centaurus. A Tri-Centaurus is 1.6 bill max and 1.5 bill minimum. And the base Centaurus belts are 8 million, right? And you can sometimes even get these at min bid. There's 12 at min bid right now, so 7.5 million. That being said, right, if they're 8 million and I need to go to try, the best case scenario, I'll be utilizing 4, right? So 8 million times 4 belts is going to bring you to 32 million at the minimum it would take to get to try. Now let's say you fail 10 times. That's still 320 million. Let's say you fail another 10 times. That's still less than 700 million, right? So the chances of you failing up to 1.5 bill when building a Centaurus belt is very unlikely. So in this situation, it's much more worth it for you to build a Centaurus belt. If you have enough money to cover your losses, you will definitely eventually get there before you spend that 1.4 bill or 1.5 bill that you were going to spend buying it. The next thing that I wanted to speak about is purchasing gear versus building gear. Either way, you're going to be purchasing an item, but let's say that your goal is to build a Tri-Centaurus. A Tri-Centaurus is 1.6 bill max and 1.5 bill minimum. And the base Centaurus belts are 8 million, right? And you can sometimes even get these at min bid. There's 12 at min bid right now, so 7.5 million. That being said, right, if there are 8 million and I need to go to try, the best case scenario, I'll be utilizing 4, right? So 8 million times 4 belts is going to bring you to 32 million at the minimum it would take to get to try. Now let's say you fail 10 times. That's still 320 million. Let's say you fail another 10 times. That's still less than 700 million, right? So the chances of you failing up to 1.5 bill when building a Centaurus belt is very unlikely. So in this situation, it's much more worth it for you to build a Centaurus belt. If you have enough money to cover your losses, you will definitely eventually get there before you spend that 1.4 bill or 1.5 bill that you were going to spend buying it. The next thing that I wanted to speak about is purchasing gear versus building gear. Either way, you're going to be purchasing an item, but let's say that your goal is to build a Tri-Centaurus. A Tri-Centaurus is 1.6 bill max and 1.5 bill minimum. And the base Centaurus belts are 8 million, right? And you can sometimes even get these at min bid. There's 12 at min bid right now, so 7.5 million. That being said, right, if there are 8 million and I need to go to try, the best case scenario, I'll be utilizing 4, right? So 8 million times 4 belts is going to bring you to 32 million at the minimum it would take to get to try. Now let's say you fail 10 times. That's still 320 million. Let's say you fail another 10 times. That's still less than 700 million, right? So the chances of you failing up to 1.5 bill when building a Centaurus belt is very unlikely. So in this situation, it's much more worth it for you to build a Centaurus belt. If you have enough money to cover your losses, you will definitely eventually get there before you spend that 1.4 bill or 1.5 bill that you were going to spend buying it. Now let's also use an Ancient Guardian Seal as an example. It's 2 million per base. To get to try, it's 8 million. So you have essentially a little less than 4 belts or 4 necklaces that you could utilize in order to get to pry. The chances of you failing to pry, it happens. You could definitely fail. So it may just be worth it to just buy the pry in this instance, especially since there's not many base items on the market. But however, when you're going to duo, it's 3 items that you would need. So that's 2 million times 3, that's basically a little over 6 million that you're using for each attempt to get to duo. So if you divide 58 million divided by 6, you will get a little over 9 tries that you would have to get to duo. I personally think that you are definitely, if you're utilizing the right fail stacks for a duo blue, you're using like a 25 stack or a 20 stack to get to that blue duo. I personally think within those first 5 to 6 tries, you're gonna get that duo. So I personally don't think it would be worth it to buy the duo. I think it would be worth it to enhance the duo. However, when going to pry, it may just be worth it to just buy the pry, because you're utilizing fail stacks and you're utilizing time, and it's not that big of a difference, a big of a margin. You might save yourself a couple million, but you also might utilize more and fail. So I personally think in this situation, that is my opinion. Alright, so this has been a brief 5-tip guide on progression. If you have any questions, you can hit me up on Twitter, Discord, Twitch. You can catch me live streaming. However you want to reach me, I will definitely make sure that I get you as much information as possible. Otherwise, thanks for watching, you guys. Peace and love.